Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about my Pragmatics final paper. My paper focuses on analyzing the requests made on the TV series How I Met Your Mother. I chose this topic for a couple reasons. First of all, because it comes from my personal interest for this particular TV series as I watch it quite often. This is a great aid in learning English for me. Another reason is that I think the situations and the conversations built in this series are pretty close to natural conversations, and also because of my limitations of time and means to collect samples from real conversation. What I am going to do is to examine the levels of indirectness and politeness produced by the people in the TV series using the coding scheme of Blim-Coca et al. 1989, as well as the politeness system described in Scotland and Scotland 2001. For this paper, I have collected a total of 38 samples from episode 1 to episode 7, season 2, How I Met Your Mother. Through analyzing this set of data, I expected to see a pattern of requests made in different situations, as well as how different factors such as social distance and power difference can significantly affect to the speaker's politeness strategies. The first three elements I looked at were alerters, request perspective, and levels of directness. Under alerters, attention getters such as "Oh, hey, look" was the most frequently used signals. Requests without any alerter were close second. As regards request perspective, the majority of the time, the viewpoint was hero-oriented. Next is the levels of directness. In more than half of the cases, the speaker used conventionally indirect as their strategy. For example, "Hey, buddy, why don't you come here for a minute?" The next aspect that I looked at was request strategy. From my data, the most frequent employed strategy was query preparatory. It is often, but not necessary, in the form of questions for the ability, willingness, or possibility of the hearers. The second frequently used strategies were mood derivable, which is the typical form of the imperative. So, to help make it clearer, I presented here a couple examples of query preparatory and mood derivable. So, for example, like, "Look, Lily, are you going to help me out with this or not?" Or something very straightforward like, "That's it, give me the stick." Following is the analysis using the politeness system described in Scotland and Scotland 2001. The first system is solidarity politeness, where the people in the conversation do not perceive any social distance between themselves. In this system, power and distance have a low level. The second system is deferential politeness, in which the interlocutors are aware of a certain social distance between them. In this system, only power has a low level. The third system is hierarchical politeness, where individuals are clearly on different social status, as in the relationship between an employer and an employee, which I'm going to have an example about it on the next screen. So, from my collected data, solidarity comprised of 76% and this could be explained by the relationship between the characters in the TV series, as most of the conversations were between close friends. Here are some examples. So the first one is when Marshall talking to his boss and his co-worker in a meeting. Gentlemen, Mr. Lee, if you would all, please open to page 5 of your merger documents. So here, Marshall was extra careful when delivering his request by using a combination of strategies. He used alerters like gentleman and Mr. Lee, the last name of his boss. And he also used politeness marker like if you would or please. And he performed the request through a query preparatory strategy. My conclusions. Overall, most of the requests in my data used attention getter to alert the hearer with the perspective hearer dominance. The most common mean of request is query preparatory, and the third most common request strategy is suggestory formula, which indicates the majority of the requests belongs to conventionally indirect. And solidarity politeness system occurred the most. Some of my constraints is that there are some limitations in this dataset, such as the naturalistic element as well as the scope of the paper. Although I believe that the samples are quite close to actual conversations, as it's based on real-life situations, it is somewhat doubted since all the lines are created by a script writer. However, these data are still ideal for me in terms of observing how requests are delivered in different situations in order to keep the positive or the negative face of the speaker, the hearer, or both. Thank you for watching.